All right, we are going to be identifying the standard equation of a circle and its parts. This is coming along after parabolas, we're doing circles. Yay. And then we're writing an equation of a circle given the center and the radius. Okay. Next. So here we have the equation of a circle. Now that might look a little scary to begin with if you've never seen the equation of a circle before. However, it's not as scary as it looks. So this is the equation of the circle. We have an H and a K. H and K, maybe you remember, that is the center of the circle. So remember, every circle has a center, middle, and then R is the radius. And the radius is the distance out it goes. So it goes out and then it spins all the way around. It makes a circle. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so for this particular one right here, the center, okay, notice these are minus signs here, if you would. And what that means is these numbers that we have here are going to be opposite signs in the center. For center. Okay, so what that means is if it's x minus 2, then the center of the circle is going to be at the x part of the coordinate is going to be at positive 2. And then the y coordinate is going to be, this is positive 3, so it's going to be negative 3. So this is our center. Okay, and then here this is r squared, so that's what this is. So when we're trying to figure out the radius, r squared is equal to 16. So when we figure this out, we take the square root, and r is just 4. So if we were to graph this guy, we would go to 2, negative 3, which is, not there, approximately there. So 2, negative 3 is there. Remember, this is x goes 2 this way, and then negative 3 goes down that way. And then we will be, basically when I sketch these, I like to say we're going 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I put little dots or dashes. So if you're not printing these out, which I don't blame you, you could just sketch these out. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you should be able to sketch them and look at them and be able to tell where the center and what the radius is. So the center was 2, negative 3, and since the radius was 4, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have my one of my points on my circle, and then I just do my best to connect them. Just do your best. Okay, that's all there is to a circle. So with this guy, we want to just look at this, and just looking at it without graphing just now, can you state the center and the radius of the following circles? So you may want to pause for a second, see if you can do these. Otherwise, here I go. Let's pick a different color. All right, so for the first one, the center, we have, remember, a negative 3. So the center is at positive 3 for x, negative 4 for y, so it's a positive 4. And then to figure out the radius, it's r squared equals 9. Take the square root, so r is 3. Hopefully you've all gotten the graphing calculator software. That was my chair. You guys are going to laugh. Anyway. It really was my chair. So for this one, the center is at 5, negative 8, and the radius is at 4. The square root of 16 is 4. So for this one, the center is at negative 2, positive 6, and then the radius is, well, r squared is 12, so if I take the square root, r is the square root of 12. If you're feeling fancy, you can simplify those. So when you simplify that, ooh, radicals. Makes you feel like you're back in school again. Perfect square is 4. 4 times 3, so it would be 2 radical 3. Okay, it's just reducing radicals. So we're going to do a few of those reducing radicals here and see how that goes. So the center here is -1, -7. Hopefully that's not too hard. That's a comma. And then the radius is the square root of 18. And so breaking that down, the perfect square that goes into 18 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. So the square root of 9 is 3. So it's 3 radical 2. Don't do photomath. Figure them out, man. Okay, so for this one, there's nothing added to x. So if there's nothing added or subtracted from x, nothing, another name for nothing, is 0. So that means the x coordinate is 0. It's going to be right on the y-axis. And the y is -3. And then the radius here is the square root of 25, or 5. And then here, neither x or y has anything added to it or subtracted from it. So its center is nothing, nothing. Or if we like to call it, if you recall, that's called the origin. Okay, and then the radius is the square root of 48. So the square root of 48, break it down. I think it's 16 and 3. So the perfect square, remember 16 has to be a perfect square. So the square root of 16 is 4. I'm running out of space here. Sorry. So the radius is 4 radical 3. Okay, that's that. And then, oh, my bad. I didn't see those other ones when I made this. Anyway, so here we are. We'll just do the first 6. All right, so what we have here is we want to actually write the equation of the circle. This is hilarious down here. Anyway, so the center, so remember the equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius, that's an r, squared. So what we do is we just change, it's the same idea, we have to take the opposite sign. So this is h, each. This is k. Yeah, I'm doing my best here. Sometimes it's hard to write with this thing. All right, so then it is x, change the sign, minus 2 squared, plus y, change the sign, 3 squared, equals 4 squared. Or you could just write 16. When it's easy like that, you can just write the question. All right, so take a second. May want to pause it here and see if you can figure these next 5 out here. Or just watch me and just do the classwork tomorrow. So x plus 3 squared plus y minus 8. Remember, we're changing these signs. The sign gets changed. And then 6 squared is 36. Same. Here we go. So with this one, it's x minus 0 squared. We wouldn't write the 0. So you have to remember from the last thing that we just did that if we're adding 0, it's just x squared. And then remember, this is h, this is k. So then it would be y plus 5. Remember, change the sign. Equals 5 squared, which is 25. If the center is the origin, we did a question like that on the other one. It's x squared, y squared. We add nothing to both of these. And then we do square root of 5 squared. So you can put that in your calculator or your app that is your calculator. And this 5 squared, radical 5 squared is just 5. Okay, so then something like this. X, remember h is x, so -6 changes to +6. And then if we add 0 to y, it's just y squared. And then this guy squared is a bit more involved. So if you're putting this in those calculators or the, whatever, the online calculators, anything app that you got, you have to square the 2 and that. So when I square a 2, I get 4. And when I square a radical 3, I just get plain old 3. So this is going to be 12. And we just did an example like that on the last page where 12 was sitting here, and when we reduced it, it was 2 radical 3. So you can just check that out. Just make sure if you do this, you have parentheses around the big thing. Okay? Center is 0, 0. Well, that's just another name for the origin. So that's x squared plus y squared. And then 8 squared is 64. So these down here, I messed up. So anyway. Alrighty. I believe that's it. Yeah. So I hope you wrote those down. And we'll see how you do on this tomorrow. Adieu.